Good morning, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Tuesday, October 14, 2014 in Billerica, Massachusetts, around 7:26 in the morning. Going to be a nice and sunny day, highs in the 70s, a little bit more humid, and tomorrow we're going to get very humid for this time of year. Some Indian summer, which is good, very good, but it won't last long because next week we'll be back where we should be. And take advantage of going out and enjoying this nice weather because we're in for a very cold winter. Some news to report: Boston Red Sox first baseman Mike Napoli is going to have facial surgery to deal with sleep apnea. So hopefully he's okay for the start of next season. And also the Florida Panthers home attendance was announced at over about 7,500 and something, but the way it looked like barely about 2,000 people showed up to that game. It's sad that a major league franchise is in Florida hockey team and they're getting crowds that could fill up our college or high school game. And the owner of the Panthers says they're going to honor it at least until it expires. Fans don't care too much about hockey in South Florida, and I think the team needs to move. It will probably have to move. I would think it should move to either Quebec City or Hartford, Connecticut, or Kansas City, Missouri, or Seattle, because they'll draw sales consistently than in South Florida. That's my humble opinion. And one more thing, there's still a lot of people who are like criticizing the Bruins' slow start, that the Bruins are not going to be a fringe playoff team and they don't have enough offense. They could easily not make the playoffs, and Claude Julien's job could be in jeopardy if they don't make the playoffs. It's just 4 games in this season. The Bruins have been known to have some early season struggles, but they'll get it back together. The Bruins will probably go on a major winning streak, and they'll be okay. Just give it some time, Boston Bruins fans. It's just 4 games in the season. Don't panic. It's not like it's 78 games into the season. We could be in danger of losing a playoff spot. Just calm down. We will get it together. We will get it together. We'll defend the Atlantic Division Championship this year, and we'll do good in the playoffs, I hope. Well, next subject is my continuation series of everything and anything. And my continuation series is the top 10 designated hitters in Major League history. The designated hitters in the American League, it started in 1973, and the designated hitter was to replace the pitcher, because the pitcher pitches in the ninth, hits in the 9th spot, and many times that pitcher is a weak hitter, player, and then kind of mostly an easy out. So the American League did this to get maybe some more offense, and it's worked for over 40 years, and some great players have extended their careers because of the designated hitter, because of injury or decline in production on the field. And now here's the top 10 greatest designated hitters of all time. Number 10 on the all-time list is Greg Luzinski. Greg played for the Phillies for many years, but towards the end of his career, he went to the American League to play for the White Sox. He was a good outfielder, but his skills were declining in the outfield, so he moved to designated hitter, and he spent the rest of his career as a DH with the White Sox, 2-time American League DH of the year, and he put up some great numbers as a DH. He comes in at number 10. Number 9 on the all-time list of greatest designated hitters of all time, Hal McRae. Hal McRae spent the majority of his career with the Royals as a designated hitter. Pretty good. He drove in a lot of runs. He was a great offensive player for KC Royals. He was a clutch hitter, and eventually he became manager of the Royals and Devil Rays. He comes in at number 9. Number 8 is Jim Rice of the Boston Red Sox. He played outfield, but he was good at designated hitter as well. He usually sometimes played it when he needed an off day of the field, and he was good as a designated hitter. He's in the Hall of Fame. He comes in at number 8. Number 7 on the all-time list of greatest designated hitters of all time, Howard Baines. Howard played over 20 seasons in Major League Baseball with the White Sox, the A's, the Rangers, the Orioles. He was an outfielder, first baseman. Towards the end of his career, he became a designated hitter, and he was very productive in his later years. And he finished with like 2,930 hits, which was 70 short of 3,000. He did not get Hall of Fame consideration, though, because of him not having a very low average and stuff. And comes in at number 7. Number 6 on the list of greatest designated hitters of all time, Jose Canseco. Jose Canseco played for the A's, the Red Sox, the Rangers, the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Rays, and the White Sox. He spent most of the time as a designated hitter when he blew out his arm when he did pitching for the Rangers in 1993 in a blowout game against the Boston Red Sox. And he was a very good designated hitter. He was consistently 40 home runs a year when he was a designated hitter. And he admitted he used his steroids at the end of his playing career, but he was still a great designated hitter. Number 5 on the all-time list of greatest designated hitters of all time, Don Baylor. Don Baylor played his career with the Orioles, the Angels, the New York Yankees, the Red Sox, Twins, and the A's. He was a designated hitter after he went to the New York Yankees, and he was very productive in his final years as a designated hitter. He was hit by the pitch more times than any other player in Major League history when he retired, and that record was since been broken by Craig Biggio. But he was productive as a designated hitter, but he never got Hall of Fame consideration. And that's about it for him. Number 4 on the all-time list is Frank Thomas, a designated hitter. He mainly played first base for the White Sox, but towards the end of his career with the White Sox, he moved to designated hitter because they had Paul Konerko. He was productive as a DH for the White Sox, the A's, and Blue Jays. He has his 500 home run as a member of the Blue Jays as a designated hitter. He played his majority of his career as a designated hitter. And he's a Hall of Famer. He's only the second player to play the majority of his career as a designated hitter in Hall of Fame. And that's good. Number 3 on the all-time list is Paul Molitor of the Brewers, the Blue Jays, and Twins. He was the first player to play the majority of his career as a designated hitter in the Hall of Fame. And Paul Molitor had a great career as a designated hitter. He hit for average. He had some powers. He was clutch. He was consistent towards the end of his career, especially with the Blue Jays and the Twins. He won the 1993 World Series MVP as a Blue Jay. He got his 3,000 hit as a member of the Twins as a designated hitter, and he had over 3,400 hits to retire. He comes in at number 3. Number 2 on the all-time list of greatest designated hitters of all time, Edgar Martinez of the Seattle Mariners. Edgar was not a regular in baseball until 27, and he played third base, but he got injured while playing third base. He couldn't throw, so they made him a designated hitter, and he became a very decent designated hitter, one of the best of all time from 1993 to the end of his career. He won a batting title as a designated hitter. He was consistently an all-star, and he retired in 2004, and they named the Designated Hitter Award after Edgar Martinez. But he has not gotten any Hall of Fame. He's gotten decent Hall of Fame consideration, but never 35%, and he's going to be dropping off the ballot in 2019 if he doesn't get the 75% of the vote. And the number 1 designated hitter of all time is current Red Sox designated hitter, Big Papi, David Ortiz. David Ortiz has hit over 400 home runs as a designated hitter. Very clutch in situations. He's won MVP awards for American League Championship Series and World Series. He's going to hit 500 home runs next year, barring significant injury, and he could be the first pure designated hitter to go in the Hall of Fame. And that's about it on that. We'll be back later, Facebook friends and YouTube followers, for 2 more video blogs. The video blogs I'm going to talk about for the rest of the day. For the second one is memories of the old video stores where you could rent videos, video games, etc. And also the legendary Four Horsemen, a wrestling faction that's going to be it. And there'll be no personality profile today because that's going to be taking a break. And probably Thursday will be the day that the top 10 list takes a day off or two. Have a good day, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. See you tonight and this afternoon.